Hi everybody and welcome. For today's video I'm going to present another tactical training exercise, and this is one that I feel is right in the sweet spot of being enjoyable for already seasoned chess players, but also solvable for people at the kind of intermediate level. So it's white to play, and before we attempt to solve this particular problem, let's just discuss the position a little bit. So materially, we can see that things are pretty even. Both players have 5 pawns, and the rooks for each side are still on. One of the imbalances in the position is that black has a bishop against white's knight, and clearly the white knight is better than the light squared bishop belonging to black, because that bishop is impeded by his own pawns. Also, if we look at the king's positions, we can see that white's king is much more secure and he enjoys the better pawn structure. Black has a lot of holes in his position, and we can also see that white's rooks are pretty well placed. We've got them on this open C file and also on this half open E file behind the knight. So even though materially it's looking pretty even, the position is very favorable for white, and in fact it's a winning position due to some concrete tactical ideas. So I would recommend that you pause the video now and calculate as deeply as you can until you find the winning lines, and you should look at all of black's reasonable defenses. Okay, so the winning idea in this position starts out with queen takes c8 check. Naturally, black's reply is more or less forced. I mean, he could move the king, but then we're just giving up a piece for nothing, and the rook would fall off. So rook takes is forced, and then rook takes c8 check. If you saw this far and then didn't continue, you're on the right lines, you just didn't look deeply enough into the resultant position. So there's a couple of different possible replies here from black. The main line we're going to look at is king to g7, but there's also rook to f8, which we'll need to consider too. So first let's look at king to h7. After king to h7, it seems like at first that white's attack has run out of steam. However, we've got to look at the forcing moves in the position. So the most obvious is always going to be those resulting in check. So if we look at rook to h8 check, we see now that king takes h8 is forced because of the g6 square is impassable to the black king. And now, of course, the knight check is possible on g6, and after king to h7, knight takes e7, white is a whole piece up with a very favorable position. The game might continue with rook to f7. The knight's going to come to c6 and then come back to this e5 square with an easy win. So let's go back after rook c8 check. Let's look at the other main defense for black, which is rook to f8. So this is a little trickier, I think. Took me a short while to find this move. rook takes f8 doesn't work. If black took with the king, then we would have knight g6 check, winning easily. But of course, black can just recapture with the queen, and then we've got nothing. So the winning idea here is now knight g6 immediately. So we leave the rook en prise. The reason being is that if black plays rook takes c8, we now have knight takes e7 check, and we're going to pick up the rook, and with a massive material advantage, winning easily. Black's best try then is king to d7, but after rook takes f7 check and king to h7, white would probably play something like knight to f4, threatening to putting more pressure on this piece, and the two rooks combined with the knight is a very easy win. So I thought this was a nice position, and demonstrated, what can happen when there are a lot of sort of weaknesses on the back rank and around the king. And it's interesting that it starts out from a materially equal position. Well, I hope you enjoyed this short video. I'll see you next time on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching.